Hello everyone, it's Leslie. Before we get started today, I just had a couple points of business. One, I am being legally forced by the state to halt use of the title doctor. Apparently there's a great deal of legal requirements in schooling, and to be quite honest, it sounds like a bunch of hoopla in order to use the term. I was just using it because I feel as if I am a doctor in my community. All of my advice is very well thought out, and I think about this stuff virtually all day. And the response I get from my community members is very positive. So even though I do believe I function as a doctor, I am being forced to stop actually using that term. So if you see me in the street, please just call me Leslie. And if you call up on the air, just please refer to me as Leslie. I want to avoid a lawsuit. Apparently there are heavy fines and jail times if I continue to use the title doctor. So from here on in, it's just Explorations with Leslie Tanner. Secondly, today's episode is a little adult themed. So if you are bashful or of an age at which it would be inappropriate for me to give you sexual advice, please stop listening. This is not for you. This is for adults to talk about adult stuff. Okay, and that about does it. Let's get started. A single rose. A coy smile. An improvised poem. A scented bath. Acoustic guitar. A breath on the nape of your neck. A caress of the tush. A playful bite of your lower lip. The elusive game of cat and mouse. Oils slathered onto a coarse back and thighs. A brief flick of the erect, eager nipple. A sweet pant or a guttural yearning moan. Ice cubes being dragged around and inserted into a physically resistant but emotionally wanting ass. Most of the world's finest films, plays, and music revolve around romance. It makes us flawed, passionate beings, yet it is so fundamentally critical to being human. And if you were to believe what you hear, you'd think that this was exclusively a young person's game, that there was an expiration date on your penis, vagina, or ass. So if you're one of my more advanced listeners who yearn for the days of youthful thirst, this week's episode is all about you. So buckle up, because we're off to the races, and we're revving your engines to teach you how to rekindle that fiery lust for romance once again, in today's Explorations with Leslie Tanner. Hello everyone, and welcome to Explorations with Leslie Tanner. My name is Leslie Tanner. I am your host. We are broadcasting from my home at 8:80 a.m. The time is approximately 3:32 a.m., so thanks for staying up with me. Today's episode is going to be a wild one. The title of it is Romance at an Advanced Age, so it's primarily geared toward my listeners of a more wizened, informed age who wish to rekindle the youthful fire in them so that they may both express themselves sexually and sensually with their bodies and receive sensuality as well. So I admittedly built today's episode around the advanced experience. However, anyone that wishes to incorporate romance just a little more into their lives will find a cornucopia of information in this episode. I will reiterate that if you are at all bashful, or if you legally are of an age that I cannot give you sexual advice, please stop listening. This is not for you. This is for those that want to explore more adult topics, things about our bodies. If the word penis or vagina or butt, any of those words are confusing or embarrassing to you, just go ahead and skip to the next episode, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. However, if you are excited about the journey of the body, please stay tuned. But before we jump into the meat and potatoes of the episode, I'd like to tell you briefly about our sponsor. Now, when I said this week was dedicated to my more versed listeners, I was not joking around. We here at Explorations joined forces with the town's JCs to bring you a monumental giveaway. Together, we are offering Explorations listeners over the age of 50 a basically all-inclusive 4-night cruise on our very own Pine Lake. Just you, a lover, the stars, and the gently rocking waves of the Pine Lake we know and love. And for those of you that get a little homesick or seasick, worry not, because not only will you be in the middle of the lake in the heart of our town, still around the hustle and bustle of Route 4 and well within the sight of the Dairy Queen, Legally, the ship will not be allowed to travel more than 200 feet from the shore. Now, I know 200 feet doesn't sound like a lot, but sometimes the spark of love need only be gently coaxed and invited out to play. So does this sound good? Well, stick around, because a little later in the episode, I'll be telling you how to enter for your chance at the 4-night cruise. So what's been going on with me lately? Well, I've spent most of the week dealing with all the cords around my house for my appliances and TV and stuff. I don't know, it's been distracting, I guess. I spent yesterday morning on all fours using twist ties to sort of consolidate them in case I ever have guests, which to be honest really never happens, but sometimes I think about having parties. Nothing big, just, some clients, people from the neighborhood, people from church. I don't know. I could grill some stuff and just play some tapes that everybody likes. Or someone could bring some alcohol, We could all just loosen up for a couple hours. Nothing big. That'd be nice. But these cords, though, I've been staring at them all week. They gotta go. I would get down there, sometimes there'd be too many cords to fit in the twist tie. So then I was like, now what? 2 ties? Like twisted together? I don't know. That's actually not a bad idea. I mean, at the moment, though, I get so frustrated and I forget to center myself. That might be something for me to work on, I guess, to keep thinking of solutions. Even if I start feeling, dumb when there's too many damn cords, or there's too much juice for the cup I want to use, or something. I don't know. I guess I'll just keep trying. Once I get all this figured out, though, I'm definitely going to have some people, because parties can be fun. So let's jump into it. Romance at an advanced age. Now, listeners, I'm going to give you the key to unlocking the sensual fire within, the one is in there waiting to roar again. First, I want you all to acknowledge that you want to want it. Let there be no qualms or gray area about this. You want to express your body. That's why we're all here. So, I'm going to tell you right now, the key is the following phrase. I feel the sexiest by myself. That's right, think about that. I feel the sexiest by myself. It might sound simple or odd or maybe even a little intimidating, but I can say to you, in all honesty, I am a sexy lord even when I am by myself. How many of you can say that this was ever true for you? No matter your answer, worry not, because I'm about to show you exactly how to get there, regardless of how you feel about yourself or your body. You see, as we age, our bodies deteriorate, our skin gets looser, our joints stiffer, and we simply lose confidence. We start looking out the window for times of yore, wishing for a renewed vigor. But little do we know, that vigor is in a very real sense right around the corner. No, I can't show you how to regain the cartilage in your knees or grow a fuller head of hair, but I'm going to show you how to tap into your sexiness. So we've been constantly barraged with messages our entire lives about how we should look and act regardless of gender. Thin, fat, muscular, waifish, thick, short, tall, long or short hair. If you are one of my more wizened listeners, you have probably even noticed how these rules have changed over time, rendering their ultimate authority meaningless, but seemingly strict and unforgiving. I would like you to, for a moment, think back to your teens, your 20s, your 30s. At any of your supposed quote-unquote primes of romance, sex, and sensuality. Think of your partners and your peers and their partners. Undoubtedly, there were bodies of all types enjoying sensual pleasures. And as part of this recall, I want you to try and remember everyone's internal lives. I'm sure you can think of the quote-unquote hot people fucking, but I'll bet you can also think of quote-unquote hot people who hated themselves to a point of near sexual paralysis, and fat, short, ugly, pale, loose-skinned, sickly torsoed, little penised, weird labia, fucked up eyes, baby teethed, burns, perpendicular fingernail beds, psoriasis, cloved hooves, tiny lipped, or whatever malady you can imagine that could freely indulge in their own sensuality without hesitation and fuck without a second thought. So if this is true, what does that mean about the nature of sensuality? It's that it's an internal game, first and foremost. And this internal individual dynamic can be nurtured, balanced, and brought to a roaring cinder regardless of age or any other supposed obstacle in your path. So I'm going to show you an exercise I do with myself to maintain my unencumbered sexy flames. Now, personally, I do this exercise every few hours on my days off, but you're free to do it as little or often as you feel is necessary. The first thing we need to do is set some time aside. Unplug your television, take your phone off the hook, and block off some committed, uninterrupted time. Next, I want you to think about what has made you feel sexy and relaxed in the past. Was it candles? Music? Incense? Maybe you took a scented bath or wore a soft robe that accented your figure. Take some time to set up a room for our sexual exploration together. I, for one, will be doing all of the above, but especially music to stoke my personal libidinal dominance. Then, before we begin, find a comfortable place to sit or lay down. Anywhere you feel comfortable is perfect. As usual, we're going to start off with a few breaths. In and out, in and out. You've probably begun listening to explorations today with your mind in a lot of different places. Take another breath, in and out. There's a magnetic energy between your mind and your body, and even though you spread it so thin throughout the day, your mind ultimately wants to return to your body. All you have to do is breathe and get out of its way. In and out, in and out. And as it's returning, allow yourself a moment to just enjoy what this feels like. So now that we've lit some candles, put on some music, and set the room up, let's journey together with ourselves through the layers of intimacy. I've broken them down into 3 easy areas, and they each naturally bleed into the other one. Now go back in your mind to a time in which you approached someone and it was successful. What happened? What was the first thing you did? It was the greeting, right? Yeah, just a simple greeting. But within this greeting, there is a lot of information and some subtle nuances that need to be in place that I'm going to take you through. And remember, right now we are just approaching ourselves. So I'm just going to do a little dry run. Want to focus my sexiness? I deserve it. I have it. Here we go. Hi, my name is Leslie. How are you? And wow, that was exhilarating. I feel empowered. I feel sensual. Now, I want you to give it a try before we get into any sort of analysis. Go ahead. I'll do it with you. Hi, my name is... Insert name, whatever your name is right here. How are you? How did that feel? Now, some of you may have felt empowered and sexy and all those wonderful things that I also felt. However, I'll bet more than a few of you did not feel very comfortable about that. Let's give it another try. Hello, my name is... Insert name. How are you? Now, let's take a look at that discomfort. So I'll bet if you felt uncomfortable the first time, you felt uncomfortable the second time. In greeting someone, there is a certain level of vulnerability. You are making your intentions known, and you are making yourself available and putting yourself at risk of rejection. And that would hurt a lot for sure, but there is a certain power in vulnerability. So be honest with yourself and try again. You are presenting your intentions, and we're just doing this with ourselves. And you know you're going to receive it because you want to touch yourself. And we're going to get to that in a little bit, but first, let's take it easy. And if that's enough for now, to just maybe run through some sexy greetings, feel free to get off the train and park it out over on the side and continue greeting yourself in a way that makes you feel sexy and confident. However, if you're ready to graduate, come along and we're going to move on to conversation and compliments. Now, I'm sure you can remember a time you approached someone in conversations that just went well, that ended up with intimacy, It's just an easy exchange of ideas back and forth. So the less you can try to control it, the better. And just have fun be the goal. So I'm going to just jump in to a conversation with myself, try to loosen myself up a little bit. Oh, have you tried the new Chinese food place next to the mall? Yeah, they have a lunch buffet that's pretty good. I need to be careful at buffets too. I eat so much. Yeah, it's funny when I see a video of a lab rat that eats so much, I feel like I'm the rat. Wow. I'd love to go to Chinese food sometime if you'd like. And success. Not only was every second of that conversation dripping with sex and sensuality, it ended up with a continuation of the meeting and an expression of interest. So give it a try for yourself. Talk about literally anything, the first thing that comes to your mind, and let it go from there. So next I'd like to go over compliments. And in this solo practice, think about compliments you'd like to receive. Think about your strong areas that you would like to be noticed, and I want you to give that to yourself. So if I was going to imagine a compliment to give to myself, here we go. You're clearly bargain conscious, as I know these clothes are from Kmart, but you wear them with such indomitable spirit and flair. Wow, if I received that compliment, I'd be weak at the knees, I'd be putty, I'd be swept off my feet, and I'd feel so wanted. Because I am bargain conscious. I do buy my clothes on a strict budget. However, I don't let that hold me back. I feel like I'm very expressive, and I communicate a lot of who I am through the clothes I wear. Think about those. Think about how to compliment and compliments that you would like to hear. And this will add and enrich your conversations and ultimately lead to sexual intercourse. And this is just how it works. Now, for those of you that feel ready, we are going to graduate to the ultimate level of physical intimacy, and we're going to start touching ourselves. Now, if you don't feel ready for this, please do not feel pressure to do this. Everybody's comfort level is the most important thing. So, here we go. We've greeted, we've conversed with ourselves, we've given ourselves a compliment, we've furthered the meeting. Now, I want you to just take your hands in front of you. Touch your fingertips to each other. Wow, you can feel the heat. Do you feel that electricity? I do. Now, slowly place your hands together. Not forcefully, but firmly and with clear intention. You know exactly what you need to do with yourself. Now, start rubbing those hands together a little bit. The heat is growing. Remember what it's like to feel sexy. Remember what it's like to feel wanted. Allow yourself to want yourself. Now I want you to rub your arms. Wowie zowie. The electricity is off the charts. I feel like I could generate enough electricity for a small village with the amount of sexiness that I'm pulling out of my body right now. Wow. Now, I'm going to move on to my chest. Whoa. Very erogenous zone, the chest. Not necessarily even the nipples, but also definitely the nipples. I'm playing with my nipples right now. Making little circles, giving little flicks, talking to them. And if you ever feel yourself recoil from the intimacy, remind yourself, you deserve this. You are sexy. You are wanted because you want yourself. Now, I'm going to move on to the stomach. Still slightly erogenous, a little less erogenous. However, it's on its way down to my sex flesh. Move to the hips, start making little circles in the front of your hips. Wow. Goodness gracious. Again, if you feel as if you cannot continue, move back up to the arms. Make little circles around your nipples. Maybe play with your neck or just hold hands with yourself. It's just about being comfortable and feeling sexy. Now, my thighs are an extremely erogenous zone, but also an emotionally complicated zone. But when I'm warming myself up, I'd like to give my thighs a little bit of a slap to let them know that daddy's home, to let them know the power dynamic that I have with myself. So, yeah, that's right. That's the perfect thing to do for me, because it lets me know that I love myself firmly. Yep. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. There's some sweat gathering by my brow. Oh. Daddy's home. Put the kettle on, make some tea. Daddy wants his tea. And now I am fully erect. Now, many of us may have penises, but many of us may have vaginas, or many of us may prefer butt play. Any variation within that scope is what we're going to explore. So, I have a penis, and I have an erection right now. So what I'd like to do is just stare it down. Spend some time with it. You are a beast. You were one of the kings of yore, written about in the Old Testament. Mighty, unwieldy, able to withstand plagues of locusts, of toads. You are the angel of death. You, in your wrath, reign supreme. You are God. And these are little things that I tell myself to get myself pumped up, to feel sexy, and to feel powerful. So let's do a vagina run. So I want you to stare at your vagina. You truly are the beginning and end, the giver and taker of life. You are soft. You are fleshy. You are a swamp. You are a forest of desire. You consume. Now, let's move on to ass. I want you to think about how you might pep talk your ass. To explore an ass is the most human thing that we can do, so as to remain close to God. Think about just purely eating ass. Think about how filthy that made you feel, but how deeply affirming it was at the same time. Think of the power of having your ass eaten, having some little peon eat the goop out of you, and you moan like a queen or king on top of your throne. And in this case, that throne is some little shit's face. The ass, much like a black hole, is a mathematical conclusion of the universe and creation. Where there is creation, there is the end, there is death, and through that death, we all experience life. Wow, and that concludes our sexual exploration together today. We definitely will be revisiting this on a later episode. What would you like to see in an episode like this about sex and about our bodies? Hopefully, you've gotten a little bit of something to take home with you and work on. And if you've discovered anything, please write to me, call me, anything. I'd love to hear from you. Now that we've concluded the exercise for the week, I'd like to move on to one of my favorite segments of the show where I take questions from you, the listeners. And we call this segment Inquiries from the Edge. So this week's question comes from Andy L. from New York City, New York, Big Apple. Leslie, I appreciate all your hard work in encouraging us to air our grievances and seek therapy when we need it, but I just don't have the time. I work 70 hours a week, and when I'm off work, I'd rather enjoy some nice scotch rather than talk with a therapist. Is there some other, more expedient way to take care of my mental health? Andy L., thanks so much for the question. There absolutely is more expedient, more effective ways to take care of your mental health. It's about finding the solutions that are effective for you and defining your success. So what is something that you would want out of therapy? Would you want like an abatement of the anxiety? Are you depressed? Are you confused? Are you looking for more direction in your life? Any answers to these questions lie within yourself. So it is completely irrelevant, the idea of going to therapy, unless you want to go. I have personally never gone to therapy in my life, nor will I go, because I don't feel that there are answers for me inside of a room like that with a person like that. I think anyone that postures as having answers is deeply offensive to me, and also it spits in the face of the universal truth that there are no answers ultimately, other than whatever thing you can make up before you die. So, Andy, if you don't want to go to therapy, don't go to therapy. If you want to drink, please continue drinking. Take some pills. Go hang out with some buds. See if they have any pills. Explore your own solutions. And tell me about those solutions as you find them, because I'd love to hear them. I'm always looking for how the human spirit continues to reinvent itself and how it continues to process the universe around it and look for any sort of truth. So, Andy L., thank you so much for the question. Appreciate it. So that about does it for today, and it has been a treat to go on this sexual journey with each other and with ourselves, most importantly. So as I said before, I'd be letting you know how to enter the contest for the virtually all-inclusive 4-night cruise on Pine Lake, and all you have to do is very simple. Just write to me at the show and tell me about a way in which you are vulnerable with yourself in a sexual way. That's all. It does not have to include a partner. To be honest, I would prefer it just include yourself. Apparently, I forgot to mention that there will be no food offered on the cruise itself, so if you do win, you may want to just bring some lunch meat in a cooler to keep you and your lover satiated during your stay on the ship. Again, I'm required to repeat that there will be no food, and winners in the past have just brought some lunch meat and ice in a cooler. So, if you'd like to enter that cruise contest, please write to me a way in which you are vulnerable sexually with yourself. And that about does it for this week. Namaste.